Hello babies, and welcome back to another episode of Read OMC. Today we are continuing with our chapter book, Hope Was Here, and we are on chapter 7. It was night. I had everything unpacked finally. Empty moving boxes piled in a heap. The cardboard symbols of starting over. Harrison Beckworth McCoy's line, not mine. My room. Light yellow walls, blue rug, bed at an angle between the two windows, tangerine quilt with yellow piping. Everything seemed like it belonged there. Except me. When does the magic hit in a new place and you suddenly fit in? In Brooklyn it hit when I met Miriam. In Pensacola it hit when I got to be a waitress. In Atlanta it happened when I stopped fighting. I studied the black leather boxing gloves hanging behind my bedroom door. Not every girl can say that boxing saved her. I learned to box when I was 11. I thought it was just to do something physical, but Addie knew different. She had a policeman friend, Mickey Kasdan, who boxed. He'd take me to the ring and show me the moves, how to dance lightly around an opponent, how to protect my face, how to do quick jabs. I never fought anyone. I just punched the bag, swinging away until I was exhausted. One day, I went to the gym and was punching the big bag when a chord deep down in me connected to fury. I hit the bag harder, tears streaming down my face. I was punching with jabs and rights and left hooks. I'm told I was saying, "You shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have." Mickey Kasdan stood by me telling people to back off. Punch it out, slugger, till it's all gone. I hit and punched and cried at the injustice of being left by my mother with tubes in my nose and monitors on my chest. After I had no more punch in me, I fell in a heap on the floor. The rage was out. I took off my gloves that day and hung them on the back of my bedroom door. I keep them there to remind me that my fighting days are over. I almost put them back on after what Gleason Beale did. I was dying to hit something. I looked out the window at the dark street below, opened my scrapbook and wrote, "Transitional teen seeks whereabouts of true father. No questions asked. No questions asked. No leads too small." I turned to the back section of the scrapbook where I keep the dads. Over the years, I've cut out pictures of men from magazines that I thought looked like father material. Not guys with rock star hair or strange clothes, businessmen mostly, all with great smiles. Some of them I got from life insurance ads. They were holding their kids and looking like they'd never leave them. Steadfastness is the best trait for a father, in my opinion, and believe me, I've studied the species. When you're in food service, you see the best and the worst of parenting on any given weekend. I smoothed back my hair, sat Edgar, my stuffed pelican, on the pillow. Enter fantasy. Music swells. "Dad, I need to talk to you about something important." I picture him instantly putting down the significant stack of papers he's working on. He turns around in his green leather chair. He has a deep, kind voice. "Well, of course, Hope. I always have time for you. I know, Dad, that you've been all over the world and you've managed to make those transitions easily because you're the kind of person who doesn't let change throw you. But I'm having some problems doing that here. I'm doing stuff with people I'm involved in all, but deep down I don't feel like I fit in Wisconsin. I'm more of a big city person, like you." I picked up Edgar, hugged him. "I can't seem to get over the fact that you aren't here, Dad. I'm trying to be hopeful, but it's hard. Sometimes I wonder if I should change my name to something that doesn't lug so much responsibility with it. Susan, maybe. Lucy. If you could give me some advice right now about my life and how long it's going to take you to find me, I'd sure appreciate it." I waited, listening to the soft ticks of my alarm clock. Sometimes this game works and sometimes it doesn't. 3:14 a.m. Still awake and emoting. I took out my Roget's thesaurus, which lists words that have the same meaning. If you're a word person like me, you can't live without one. Say you're trying to get an idea across, like Gleason Beale is a thief. You can look up the word thief in the thesaurus and come up with a slew of even better slams to help you work out your intense feelings. Gleason Beale is a robber, stealer, purloiner, like that one, larcenist, pilferer, poacher, swindler. I flipped to the H section. Hope is belief, credence, faith, trust, confidence, assurance. I lay on the bed holding I lay lay on the bed holding the thesaurus, trying to live up to my name. I lurched toward dawn. Got to work at 5 a.m., a half hour early, points for me, to set up for the breakfast crowd. Addie had been baking bread since 4. I learned years ago not to try to outwork that woman. Braverman wasn't due in until later that morning. No tall presence overshadowing the grill. I kind of missed him. There's something about diner setup that soothes the soul. Something about making good coffee in a huge urn glistening in fluorescent light. Something sweet about filling syrup pitchers and lining them on the back counter like soldiers ready to advance. It gives you courage to face another day. The doors opened at 6 a.m. By 7, we were packed. In minutes, I got every kind of sitter at the counter. I love watching people sit down. There are ploppers, slammers, sliders, swivelers, and my personal favorite, flutterers, who poise suspended above the seat and kind of move up and down before finally lighting. At the galley window, I heard Llewellyn snarl to someone, "I had to drive 40 miles with a baby to get this job. That Hope just waltzes in here, no interview, like she owns the place." Like I had a choice in any of this. I rammed into high gear to show her up. Stepped over the legs of a burly construction worker that were stretched out in the aisle. Some people do not know how to behave in public. Daphne Kroll, the night waitress at the Humdinger Diner, would just stop dead in front of someone with loose legs and say, "Honey, are you charging a toll or is passage free today?" Daphne could get away with that because she was middle-aged and built like a walk-in cooler. When you're 16, trust me, step over the legs. At the counter, listening to Adam Pulver tell GT about his Uncle Sid, who was a spin doctor and had helped 2 congressmen win seats in the last 2 elections. Spin doctor. Flo was clearing plates, listening in like a good waitress should. "You mean one of those fellas who takes what people say and turns it around to mean something else? They give me a headache." Adam rose defensively. "My uncle is a genius. The last guy he worked for was 35 points behind in the polls. Uncle Sid found the button of the district, and his candidate won." GT sipped his coffee. "What was the button?" Adam's face got reverent. "Waste disposal. Uncle Sid is coming to visit tomorrow. He says you have one of the most interesting campaigns he's ever heard of, GT, and he'd like to meet you." GT smiled but didn't say anything. Adam lowered his voice. "He's going to be staying with us while his ulcer heals." Flo piped in, "I don't think GT needs a spin doctor." Adam bolted up. "Everyone needs a spin doctor." Sid Vole, Spin Doctor Supreme, is eating a farmer's breakfast special not exactly designed for the ulcer sufferer. 3 eggs scrambled with onions, peppers, and sausage, Addie's life-changing half-browned, a side of buckwheat pancakes with real maple syrup, Melanchong's black coffee. He has a round baby face like Adam and styled shellacked hair. He's sitting at the big 8-top surrounded by Adam, GT, Bryce, Jillian, and GT's barber, Slick Bigsby, who just said that after 35 years of cutting hair, he knows Mulhoney, Wisconsin, like only a man who wields his scissors on the great and the below average can. I'm the waitress. A direct challenge because people keep pulling up chairs to the table and wanting coffee. I'd bring it, then it would dawn on them that they wanted an English muffin, and some orange juice, maybe a fat stack of Addie's brown sugar pecan pancakes that were beginning to catch fire in town. I'm doing my best to make life nice for everyone, but it's not like this is the only table I've got. Pastor Al B. Hall comes into the diner like a bolt of lightning. That man knows how to make an entrance. GT waves him over. I bring him his coffee as Sid Vole takes a pill and leans back, arms behind his head. It takes a clear vision to win in politics. You clarify that, ram that baby home whenever someone asks you a question. Doesn't matter what the question is, doesn't matter who's asking. Just find a way to jump into the vision thing and you'll sting like a bee. GT and Slick look at each other. Pastor Hall orders huevos rancheros, Mexican eggs and tortillas with hot sauce. People with guts order that. I pour more coffee for everyone. Basically, Sid Vole explains, the whole messy game of politics is about trust. Search for leadership in the age of cynicism. The cancer could work for you, GT. It's a fresh angle. People sense you can feel their pain. The problem is dying. I guess that's always the problem. Sid Vole chuckles. I think your best shot is to stay above the fray. Be Mr. Clean. He looked at GT's shiny head. We could get you an earring like that genie on the disinfectant cleaner. GT laughs and shakes his head. Maybe that's overkill, no pun intended. Millstone's got a big problem with you because you're going to have people's sympathy even if they don't vote your way. If Millstone hits too hard, he could demonize himself, which is what you pray for. But you've got to know how to play this trust thing just right. My head is swimming. I walk fast to the galley window, calling huevos. Waitresses order in shorthand, saves time. Braverman flips his spatula in the air and nods. I miss the way Morty the cab driver talked about politics. He'd sit at the counter, pounding his knife, spearing dinner rolls, screaming that politicians were out to get the little guy. Yuri's cleaning tables like a machine. He looks at me, smiling. Someday, I vote American. Me too, Yuri. He takes a book from his pocket, moving towards citizenship. He opens the book, points to the word freedom. Best word, he says with feeling. The best. I'm grinning as I bring two guys Blistermeyer's death sauce for their eggs. 3 women plop next to the big table, saying how they've heard about the wonderful food here. Welcome, women. I hear Sid Vole. Politics is war. Don't ever forget that. In the words of that great military strategist Napoleon Bonaparte, the number one thing that is going to make this campaign successful is to keep our forces united, to be vulnerable at no point, to bear down with rapidity upon important points. These are the principles which ensure victory. Adam is glowing, writing it all down. The 3 women order decaf with skim milk, herbal tea with brown sugar, iced tea with a bendy straw, and a little honey on the side. Labor intensive. I write the order down, trying to catch snippets. Slick. Here's the problem, Sid. People know GT is laid back. I'm not sure hitting so hard is what he's about. No response from GT, who is looking out the window at the black hearse that is parked in front of the diner. Again. Sid. That's an old trick. My advice is find out this mayor's weakest point and send out a strong visual reminder to him and the voters. Adam half rises in vindication. GT sniffs. My mother wouldn't have liked that much. Mothers aren't usually an asset in politics. Mine is. Huevos up. Swing up to the window, swing back to Al B. Hall, who says, bless you, and would I get him a bottle of Satan's Red Hot Revenge for the eggs? Sure thing, Pastor. GT gets up without a word, goes out the door, walks right to that hearse, and shakes the driver's hand. Everyone in the welcome stairways is standing now looking out the windows. Sid Vole whispers, this is risky, beating the enemy. GT opens the hearse's door and motions for the man to come inside. The man doesn't want to, he's all rattled. Bullies usually are when you confront them. But GT takes him kindly by the arm and leads him up the red welcome stairways into the diner and right to the big table. He puts the menu in the thug's hand and says to me, now, Hope, you give my friend here whatever he wants for breakfast. The man says he isn't hungry, really he has to go, but I sense deep within his thugness that he needs a special meal. So I say, may I recommend Addie's homemade corned beef hash and fried eggs with a big piece of maple cornbread slathered with salted butter? The thug gulps. I have him. He nods, hands me the menu. I doubt he will leave a tip, but this isn't about money. Sir, can I get you some coffee, juice? Coffee, he says, warming to my power. Coffee it is. I speed off to the galley where I'm about to call in the order. The hash and eggs are already frying. I heard, Addie says. The sweet synergy of food service. Braverman tosses a cherry tomato in the air and catches it in his mouth. I bring the thug his coffee as GT is saying, the thing I hate most about dying is how we deny its existence for as long as we can. Nobody knows how long they've got on this earth. And all we need to live our lives just a little bit, like the hearse is outside ready to cart us away. Make the days count. That doesn't mean living in fear, but we don't have to be dumb bunnies either and take life for granted. I thank you for that reminder, friend. You cruise by with that old thing anytime you want. The thug looks down at his coffee, grabs the mug with 2 hands as several people in the diner start applauding. Then more people start and soon everyone is clapping. I would be clapping too, except I'm carrying 4 of Addie's tomato and leek breakfast pizzas to table 12, so I throw back my head and shout, yes! Sid Vole thumps GT on the back with political glee. Adam shouts that GT's petition is at the register if anyone wants to sign. People stream up to sign that thing. Addie dings the bell twice, my signal. I sweep to the galley window, take that thug's plate steaming with everything a human being could hope for in a breakfast, place it gently in front of him, and slip away. Sometimes you hover, and sometimes you let the food do the work. All right, my darlings, that is the end of chapter 7. I love you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.